When people ask me why most magazines never make it past the idea stage, it's usually not because the idea is bad. And it's not because the founder isn't talented. It's almost always because of a handful of mistakes that feel small in the beginning, but compound over time. And I know this because I made many of these same mistakes myself back when I started my first magazine in 2011. So in this video, I want to walk you through 5 mistakes I wish I hadn't made when starting my magazines so you can avoid them and move forward faster. If you're new here, my name is Kate and I am the founder and editor-in-chief of Mini Magazine and Tool Magazine, and I have been building and running magazines for about 15 years. I started my first magazine as a 21-year-old college student, learned a lot the hard way, and grew from there. So everything I'm sharing in this video comes from my own personal experience as a now 2-time editor-in-chief. So let's get into the first mistake that many new magazine founders make, which is waiting until everything is perfect before launching. Now, this one is huge. If you compare the magazines I put out when I first started to the magazines that I publish now, they are night and day. And it's not just because I'm mega talented now, it's because I kept going. The only way you get better at publishing magazines is by publishing magazines. When you learn as you go, your design gets better, your content gets better, your reach grows, and your distribution gets stronger. When I started in 2011, I did not have all of the answers, and I didn't need them. I was young, I was learning, and I was willing to fail in public. That's another big one, but we'll get to that later. You launch an issue, even if it's not perfect, and the next one is always better. One of the biggest fears you have to get over is the fear of being seen and the fear of being cringe. That fear will keep you stuck forever if you let it. Your progress will only come by doing the thing. Now that brings me to the second mistake that new magazine founders make, which is treating the magazine like a hobby instead of a business. I always say this, if you want it to act like a business, you have to treat it like a business. When I started my first magazine, I did not work on it when I had free time. I worked on it all the time. I was tweeting constantly. Remember, this was 2011 and Twitter was what we did back then. I was following people in my niche, engaging with them, creating buzz for the magazine. I was building a media kit and pitching advertisers while I sat in the back of my journalism classes. I designed the issues at night and I answered emails all day long. I took it really seriously and people could feel that. In fact, most people did not know that I was a 21-year-old college student running the magazine, and that's because I did not treat the business like I was. I treated it like the real deal, and that's part of why I think it really took off in the beginning. Now, people ask me all the time, how quickly can I expect to see growth with my magazine? And my answer is always, it depends. I always ask, how much time do you have to put into it? Are you willing to stick with it when it doesn't explode after a month? Quitting too early screams hobby business. Sticking with it says, this is a real business and I'm here to play the long game. Keep in mind that consistency and seriousness matter more than almost any other skill in the beginning. That brings me to the third mistake that new magazine founders make, which is assuming people will find you after you launch. This is one that I actually avoided early, and I'm very glad I did. Long before, like many months before I launched my first issue, I was already working on attracting eyes. Now, social media played a big role in that, and I still recommend that approach today. You cannot assume that you can just design a magazine, publish it, and then people will magically find it. That almost never happens. Audience building needs to start before your launch. So that means posting consistently in your niche, growing an email list, running ads if that makes sense to you, and collaborating with people who already have an audience. Whatever strategy you choose, and maybe it's a combination of all of those things, which is even smarter, it needs to start early. Do not wait until your first issue is live to start building your audience. That's one of the biggest things that will stall your growth. So that brings me to the fourth mistake, which is investing in the wrong places. I recently did a video on the tools you actually need to start a magazine, and I'll link that for you here. But I want to make something very clear. You do not need every shiny new tool to start and run a magazine. You only need the tools that will actually move the needle. I built magazines that now reach millions of people using a handful of tools, like a design software, a publishing software, a computer that could handle all of that creative work, including running those design programs and editing photos, an email service, and a small team for photo shoots. Spending money out of fear because you think that you should will only slow you down. Spending intentionally to move the magazine forward is always the better choice. Be strategic in how you spend your money. You can start a successful magazine with much less than you think. So now we're on to the final mistake that new magazine founders make, and that is copying outdated magazine models. The magazine industry is constantly evolving, and we have seen that very clearly over the last year. Even major publications like Vogue have recently announced that they are moving toward fewer, more premium, limited edition issues. Publishing schedules are changing, and massive print runs are becoming less common. At the same time, more independent magazines are popping up than ever before. Many of them creator-led and run by one person or very small teams. Copying an outdated magazine model would assume that you have huge teams, huge budgets, huge print runs, and huge risk. But that's really not necessary anymore. You can absolutely start as a solo founder, be fully digital if that's what you choose to do small, limited print runs if you choose to go the print route, and still build a successful magazine. Don't assume you have to follow an old model or a model that major publishers follow that no longer fits the way magazines are actually being built today. So if you've made any of these mistakes or you're trying to avoid them, you're not behind. You're just learning, and that's something we all have to do at one point or another as magazine founders. Now, if you want a full step-by-step roadmap for planning, designing, publishing, and monetizing a magazine, that's exactly what I teach inside the Editor Academy, and I'll leave a link for you in the description if you want to learn more. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more on starting and growing a magazine. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.